Good morning. It's August 18th, 2022. Thought I'd shoot a quick video because it's foggy this morning and that makes kind of an attractive backdrop. There's not that much to really talk about this morning, so I'm not going to linger anywhere too long. This peach tree, seedling peach rootstock, has a bunch of fruit, but they must be a late peach because none of it is coloring up yet. But I've thinned probably 85% of the stuff off the tree, and there's a few left that don't have bug problems. So looking forward to trying that. Neat spider web here. The cup plants are kind of going downhill. They're still flowering, but it's pretty much over. And the same for the Monarda. The Monarda is pretty much kind of winding down. You'll see the odd bumblebee here or there. The wild senna is kind of winding down. This flower garden here still looks pretty good. Looked better about 2 weeks ago. And, this Monarda's finished. Gray cone flowers kind of wrapping it up. Some nice bird song out here this morning. Had a nice heavy dew. We could use some more rain. It's real misty out here. Other things that are flowering, the apple mint is flowering pretty heavily right now. Not seeing a lot of bees out yet because it is kind of early and damp out here. I think this might be stiff goldenrod. This whole plant's got a real velvety texture to it. That's about to open. That'll be nice when that happens. And the Downy Sunflower here is not open yet, but the other ones in the right-of-way are, and they're quite nice. They've been flowering for a couple weeks. I'm not sure why these are so much later. Tansy flowering there, rosinweed. This peach tree, all the fruits are gone. Some of them fell. I think deer ate a few. I ate a couple. I'm going to show you these apple trees. These are just still incredibly loaded. I've thinned some out where I could reach them, but can't reach most of them. So, big crop of mediocre apples probably with a lot of bug problems. My propagation beds are doing pretty well. A little bit of a lack of something in some of these persimmons. I've pulled some of them out and transplanted them to see if that helps. A few of these chestnuts are looking kind of rough too. Those persimmons look pretty good, except they've got a little leaf curl issue from aphids or something. This pampas grass is all weighted down with the weight of the dew. You see there's hazelnuts there that are pretty heavy too. I don't know if you can see this. These willows really collect the dew in an interesting way. And if you shake them, usually in the mornings, they're very wet, more so than other plants are. Their leaves really hold on to that moisture. Do a quick walk through here. This elderberry, as I said before, doesn't have a huge crop. Well, it didn't have a pollinator partner. And this seems to be ripening kind of unevenly. They're not all ripe at the same time. Got some green ones along with some purple ones. Rose of Sharon's kind of still flowering, finishing out. Surprised those flower at a pretty young age and size. I don't think I'm going to go all the way over here, but I will show there's some autumn olives ripening. So there's some coloring up fruit on that one, on that one. Not sure if it's because of the drought or what, but the autumn olives are turning sooner than I would have thought. A pretty spider web there. And I'm sure this hazelnut up here, here's a couple more of these cool spider webs. There's one there, some down there. This hazelnut over here is totally loaded. Even a few weeks ago, the branches were heavy, bent down almost to the ground. This is a great one. Yeah, very heavy. Yeah, you still got some Monarda going on, but basically done. Just give you the perspective view here. Oh, yeah, these autumn olives look pretty ripe. I've been eating some of these, and they are edible. They're not quite fully sweet yet. This was one from Oikos. Pretty good fruit on it. Let's see what the back field is looking like here. See a bunch of yellow straight ahead. That must be cup plant back there. And you see those yellow flowers there in the right-of-way. Those are Downy Sunflower. So I'm not sure why those are so much sooner than the other ones. But those are nice. These in the right-of-way, they flowered kind of around my birthday a few days ago. Or they were in good, like peak flowering, I would say. So, yeah, just kind of seeing how things look back here. I haven't walked back here in a couple of days. Maybe I will show you my wild crabapple back here, or the wild crabapple that I've grafted onto. It's got some large fruits on it. That's the Dick Winkle chestnut. I think it's got 6 or 7 burrs on it. Looking forward to seeing what those are like. I guess I missed peak flowering for these winged sumacs. These are done flowering here. They're starting to make the fruits. You see a couple that still have flowers over here. Flowers are not showy. That's what they look like this. But the bees and insects love them. Yeah, look at all that yellow over there. That's all cup plant. It's kind of hard to see it from here, but it's beautiful. So anyway, this apple, this is a wild crab apple that I grafted a couple, 2 or 3 branches of. And you can see there's some larger fruits here, and there's some very large fruits here. And I've lost the tag. I have to look at my notes to see what these are. But it's some disease resistant variety. Sorry, it's not showing up well in that lighting. Let me come around the other side. So these have some issues. But they are nice large fruits, you know, figuring that this is the size of the fruit normally on the tree, so quite a difference. And these apples they're coloring up, but they're still pretty firm, so I don't think they're quite ripe yet. So if we can get back into focus here, okay. Probably should have come an hour ago. The fog probably would have been more dramatic. Smells good out here though. There's some sumacs still flowering out there. Actually quite ornamental. So yeah, we've got rosinweed here, rosinweed there, kind of finishing up. The Silphiums are kind of winding it down. There's prairie dock, its flowers bent over. Starting to see some goldenrods coming into flower here. These are actually quite ornamental. Focus. I do hear a couple bees buzzing around here. So yeah, these are winged sumac. They're called winged sumac because there are these flaps along the stems, little flaps of leaf on either side of the, you can see along the margin of the stem there. So yeah, winged sumac actually is quite ornamental for the week or so that it's in flower. Very nice, healthy specimen of cup plant. Well, the lower leaves don't look that healthy, but overall it looks pretty good. What do we got here? That looks like a bee looking fly. There are a lot of flies that look like bees. Maybe vice versa. But not a lot of activity, and you can see the petals are falling into the little water traps here. Be cool if we saw a frog or something in one of these leaf margins, but I don't think it's going to happen today. So continuing back here, I'm not going to go through the whole place. Just show you this ironweed that's in flower. Purple flowers of ironweed. Some of these are actually kind of spent. Some of them are just kind of at full peak, but the color is actually not showing up that well on screen, but quite nice. This is my timber chestnut. I always talk about this, always pay tribute. Such a beautiful tree. Got 4 Seguin chestnuts there. Only about 2 of those have nuts, and one of them, this first one, has some serious leaf issues. Looks chlorotic or something, but actually the other ones growing nearby don't have the same thing, or they don't have as much of it. So I'm not sure if it's something particular to the soil or the genetics of this one plant, but yeah, you can see there's some burrs up on this one. This one here doesn't really have anything. Yeah, looks like I kind of missed the boat on the fog show. Okay, we'll go back here. We'll take a little different route than we normally do, so people don't get bored to death with these videos. Is there anything interesting here? Not much. Got some pecans. This area at one time was a wildflower seed mixture of wildflowers. Now it's mostly grasses and sumac that's creeping its way in. Wild plums are starting to kind of ripen. I've eaten 1 or 2. They're not quite at peak yet, but they are getting edible. The wild blackberries would be edible if I had many of them growing on this site. Most of them had died off. This thicket here is all wild plum. There's a rosin weed. I'll come show you my transplanted wild plum. I just got 4 butternut plants from the Michigan Nut and Fruit Growers meeting, summer meeting auction. So I've flagged out some spots in this walnut area where I'm going to plant those soon. And I got a few more American plum individuals too from different places. My friend John Edgerton, and one from my friend's memorial service up north by Traverse City. Here's a wild asparagus going to seed. So I'm going to be planting some more wild plum back here, which I'm excited about, to get more genetics out here and have more pollination chances. You can see this fruit is starting to color up in a kind of an attractive way. I think these get pretty dark red or purplish as they ripen. They're still pretty firm. They don't get very large. They're like a large cherry or something, really. They're not like the plums you're used to at the grocery store. The ones that have some insect, damage might fall off earlier, like that one. It's not very soft though. It's probably could eat it, but I don't know how good it would be. So yeah, this is American plum. And as we pan over here, this whole mound is all one individual of American plum. But if we come over and look, there's a million sprouts here. But there are the odd fruit here and there. So there's one, and I've seen, a few dozen others around. And then growing over this mound is a vine of wild fox grape. And some of those, that's got a pretty good fruit set this year too. So I'm looking forward to hopefully harvesting some of that fruit, because that's very good. That's what the Concord grape was kind of bred from, or selected from. And very nice grapey, classic grape, foxy flavor. So yeah, quick garden walk today. Not a hell of a lot to see. Some flowers are fading out, some are just starting. The later fall flowers, the New England asters and the other asters aren't really coming on yet, but they will be before too long, since the goldenrods are going. Yeah, we're hoping for another good rain here soon. It's been kind of dry. We had a couple good rains a week or two ago. I'm really thankful for that, but you can see some drought stress on some things. All these spider webs here, those are kind of comical. I guess there's a lot of whatever type of spider that is. There's your dogwoods here, kind of not looking great. Another autumn olive with some drought stress. Nice power substation back there. Everything looks nicer in the fog, I guess. This hedgerow I've had to come water it a couple times, although it's showing some drought stress. That Nanking cherry, hazelnut here. A lot of stuff is not looking too hot. Maybe it is looking too hot. That's so this grass here, this empty field, is kind of like what my site looked like before I got it and started planting stuff. Now I learned recently, if my plant ID app can be believed, that this stuff, this mystery stuff, I was always wondering what it was. It's one of the only things that's persisted here after a seeding about 8 years ago. It's a type of bush clover. And I'm gonna botch the botanical name if I try it, but it starts with L. L-E-S-P something, I think. But anyway, type of bush clover. It doesn't have very showy flowers. Flowers are barely even noticeable as flowers. Let's see if we'll focus here. But that would make sense since this is really awful soil. A clover, being kind of an early successional species, might do well, it being able to produce its own fertilizer. Persimmon area, nothing really happening here. Very slow growth. Put wood chips over the whole area this spring. Can't see those, they're kind of hidden now. Nanking cherries showing some drought stress. Got more rosin weeds. I stuck a bunch of these, probably 30 or 40 of them around the property one time. Here's a funny little stumpy evening primrose. Maybe it got mowed down and then it's flowering at that little short height. So I'm gonna plant some more walnuts in here, some more American plums over there, maybe some more persimmons back here, although I've got about 50 persimmons growing back here already. Could plant some more, why not? I've got tons of seedlings of them. This hazelnut showing some dieback. I'm seeing quite a bit of hazelnut dieback this summer, maybe just from drought stress. I'm gonna show you these Downy Sunflowers before we wrap it up here. Because these are in full flower, or maybe even past peak, whereas those other ones, which I think were planted at the same time, so they should be similar genetics, they're not even opening yet. So yeah, this Downy Sunflower is really a nice, beautiful, cheerful little sunflower. Smell like honey. They smell really nice. And originally I planted probably 30 plants going all the way down the length of the property. Alternated them with sunchokes. You can see there's a few sunchokes here. Maybe you can see these things are sunchokes. But the deer really have a taste for sunchokes and they will not let them thrive anywhere. So that's why there's not many sunchokes still on the site, even though I had probably a dozen different varieties or selections over the years. So yeah, Downy Sunflower, nice rhizomatous, kind of slowly spreading sunflower. Pretty tough, pretty drought tolerant. There's a Rose of Sharon flowering there. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this video up in under 20 minutes, even though that seems like, God, did it really take me 20 minutes to just do that quick walkthrough? But I guess it did. Goldenrod. Yeah, so we'll end it here. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.